Are we recording? Oh, okay, we're recording. Let's go. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney, also known as Cup of Consuela on all social platforms. I just recently relaunched my YouTube, or I guess made a commitment to start posting videos more frequently, so that's something that I'll definitely be working on. But if you're watching this video, there's a very high chance that you came over from my Instagram. So on Friday, I made a very big announcement on my Instagram, and because it was such a big announcement, I figured it would be appropriate for me to do a YouTube video sort of explaining how I came to that decision. And so we already know what it is, so I won't try and make this a cliffhanger. I'll go ahead and say after 10 years in the corporate world, specifically in the hospitality industry, I have made the decision to resign from my job as a hospitality professional to pursue my blogging business full time. Saying that is like hey y'all, I just pulled up to the office. Funny enough, I'm not even like in the parking garage, I'm just in a surface lot because I have to turn in my parking key. So I'm here. I'm trying to not be emotional, but I am like, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh. I'll be back. But I'm about to do it, y'all. I'm about to do it. I did it. I have turned in my corporate card, my work computer, my access card to the building, and I already cried in the bathroom. So I'm not gonna get on here and cry. I don't think it has hit me yet. I still have like butterflies in my stomach. I did see a few of my coworkers in the building. We have not officially gone back into the office, so not a lot of people were in today. But I cleaned out my office. I got to chat with a few people, exchange contact information. And I'm just, wow, I'm speechless. But I did it, and I know that God is gonna order my steps, so. I'm still, I guess I'm still trying to process it, just because I don't know that I ever imagined sort of getting to this space, right? And just to give a little bit of backstory, I've been in the hospitality industry since high school. I'm from Miami. My high school had an Academy of Hospitality and Tourism, and I joined that, which opened up my eyes to the hospitality industry. I did my very first internship at the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I went to Florida State University and I got my bachelor's degree in hospitality administration. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to work for Marriott International, Marriott, and I wanted to retire with them. That was like my life plan. And then I graduated from Florida State. I got my job with Marriott, and I worked my way up through the ranks. And so I started in Miami, and eventually I moved to Atlanta to sort of jumpstart my career here. So I moved to Atlanta when I was 22. I was a baby, y'all. And after being with Marriott 4 or 5 years, I switched over to the bureau side. So I was working for the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau, still working very closely with the hotels, but more so with meeting planners from around the country as a liaison between the meeting planner and the hospitality community in Atlanta. So as I told you 3 minutes ago, I did my first internship with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And if you're in the hospitality sector, then you understand that bureaus are very coveted jobs. It's very it's hard to explain, but people don't leave, and for good reason. I mean, the pay is usually very good, the benefits are usually very good, and the job itself is just a phenomenal job, right? Like, I loved it. So when I got the opportunity to work for the bureau in Atlanta, I was like, I made it, right? So I started that position in 2015, October of 2015. In August of 2017, I decided to start a blog. And when I decided to start my blog, it was not because I wanted to make a lot of money or I wanted to, you know, work with all these brands. It was legit because I like to write. I like to share things, and people listened to me. Like, they wanted to know what I was, you know, watching, what I was eating, you know, what we had this thing on my Facebook where we would do like a power like recap. So every Sunday after power went off, that following Monday, they could look forward to like a long Facebook status of me just kind of talking about power and my takeaways, and it would have hundreds of comments. Like, people looked forward to it. And so I was like, oh, I could start something where I might post about a restaurant in Atlanta that I really loved, and people would be like, oh, you know, I want to hear more. So then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to create a blog so that all my thoughts can just live in the same place. So that's what I did. Cup of Consuelo was born. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to share my life experiences. At that point in 2017, I had just had my daughter. I had just bought my first house. I was kind of, you know, 2 years into this new job and kind of navigating Atlanta and just understanding what my life would be like as a working mom and a working professional. And so I knew that I wanted Cup of Consuelo to encompass those things, but for the most part, I wanted a safe space. I wanted somewhere for all my thoughts to live, right? Fast forward a few months, an Asian skincare company, Resigned, I hope I'm saying that right. I butchered it in the video, by the way. They reached out to me to ask me if they could send me some skincare products for me to talk about on my blog and on my Instagram. Yes. I was like, absolutely. I would have paid for this. So yeah, you can send it to me for free. Like, this is awesome. So I did that. That was my first brand collaboration, if you will, but obviously it was in kind, meaning I wasn't paid physical money for it. The products were the payment. Then once I realized, I searched the hashtag that they asked me to post, and I was like, oh snap, people are actually posting and getting paid. And this is before Instagram had the paid partnership tag. But I realized that this was a thing. Like, people were partnering with brands to either A, get products that were sometimes very expensive, sometimes not, or they were actually getting paid to post about these products. So I was like, oh, hold on a minute. I need to do a little research. And so I did some research. I found out that influencer marketing was like a thing, right? Like, you could actually get paid to partner with brands and to share your honest thoughts and reviews about products and services, and et cetera, et cetera. So at that point, I started to say, okay, you know what? I can make me some side money by doing what I'm already doing for free. I could make some money by doing this very same thing. So I started to join like influencer networks. And I think the first one that I may have gotten a partnership on was Aspire IQ, or I just made that up. It was Heartbeat or Social Native, one of those very, very beginner ones. It was not Aspire IQ, it was Heartbeat. And anyway, I started using those influencer networks to connect with brands. And in the very beginning, it was like very mild, right? They would send me a product, or I may even have to go to the store and buy the products, and I might have gotten paid $50. But at the time, that was amazing to me, because what I used to do for free, I was now being compensated for it, and I enjoyed doing this. And so time passed, time progressed, years passed, and I won't walk you all through that whole story today, but I essentially started to make really good money, you know, doing influencing. And I found myself spending a considerable amount of time trying to learn, you know, the industry, and trying to, you know, buy my first camera and watch some YouTube videos to figure out like, how do I take the best pictures? And it started to really consume me. And that's when I realized like, this is something that I really, really love. And I want to do this more. Like, I don't want this to be a side thing. So I'm going to have to do this and my regular job full time. So that's when I kind of started to get a little bit more serious about influencing, once I invested in, you know, my cameras and my lenses, and I invested in some courses to learn a little bit more about photography. And I was spending my free time researching, you know, trends in influencer marketing, and looking up bloggers that I looked up to, and sort of tried to model after some of the things that they were doing well. And that just kind of went on all through from 2018 to, I would say, like 2020. And then the pandemic happened. Now, I'll be the first to say the pandemic, it was a game changer, like a life changer for many people in many ways, right? Some people in the worst way, and my heart and my thoughts go out to those that have either lost, you know, people to COVID, or, you know, have experienced a really, really rough time like battling it, because I know that it's real. The pandemic for me sort of had an opposite effect, right? It forced me to obviously be at home. So I had more time with my family and with myself and with my blog. And in that time, because my workload was so much lighter, because I mean, I work in the hospitality industry. That's events, right? Events weren't coming because nobody could go anywhere. Everything canceled. And so while my industry took a hit and we were nervous as hell about what is going to happen, when are people going to start traveling again, because obviously that's how we make our money. Everybody left being out in the real world and everybody came onto social media. And so everything about influencing was heightened during the pandemic, because that's all people did. That's all people had time to do. You couldn't go to the store, to the movies, or to dinner and drinks in the club or the lounge or whatever. You were on Instagram. DJ Nice, that started because people were at home, and it blew up, and it was amazing for him. Very similar for me and a lot of creators during this time. I was able to truly tap into what it was like to actually run my blog as a business and give it my all and give it my time. And I mean, for lack of better words, like it literally showed me that when you pour into something and you put your all into something, you will get it back tenfold. In all honesty, the pandemic really showed me what I was made of. Like, it really put my back against the wall, and it forced me to make a decision. Like, you have all this free time, you have resources, you have literally everything that you need at your fingertips. Make something shake. And that's what I did. I poured into my blogging business. I hired a photographer. I hired a graphic designer. I created digital products for my brand. I did 2 ebooks. I did 2 social media influencer books. I went crazy, you know, and my hard work really, it showed, because I was able to triple, almost quadruple my salary, my corporate salary, from influencing in 1 year. In literally 1 year. Even then, I was not prepared to leave my job, because I just felt like it wasn't time, or I wasn't ready, or I worked so hard for this job and I have my degree in this field, and it was almost like a mind thing, like an ego thing. Like, I don't want to say I'm just an influencer, right? Like, I can do both. I can keep both jobs. I can do my full-time job, and I can do my corporate job, and I can do influencing full-time. It's what I was trying to convince myself. You know, when I first got this job, my corporate job, I was so happy. I was so elated. I was so ecstatic, because it was legitimately my dream job. Like, hospitality has always been my passion, but working for the bureau was always such a want for me because it allowed for me to use my experience, my hospitality experience, and to still be in that industry without being in the four walls of a hotel. So I am out and about in the city. I'm traveling on behalf of Atlanta. I'm meeting meeting planners from all over the country and acting as the liaison between them and our airports and our convention center and all of our hotels and all of our restaurants and all of our event venues. I got to work on some of the most amazing conventions in the world. Super Bowl, I worked on Super Bowl. The Miss Universe pageant, like those are the kinds of and I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional right now because I want to really emphasize how much I genuinely loved my job. I did. It was the coolest job ever. I feel like I explained my job all the time, and even when I explained it to the best of my ability, people were still like, okay, but what do you do again? It was like a mystery. I spent a majority of my time out of the office. It was flexible. The benefits were amazing. Had I not discovered influencing, I probably would have stayed there forever. And so when it comes down to like, well, why did you leave? I can say that for a long time, I did both. So like for the past 4 years, obviously I have been influencing and doing my corporate job. The last 2 years, influencing has really, really ramped up for me. And with everything that I've done for my brands, I have far exceeded my salary with my corporate job. And even with that, it still was difficult for me to wrap my head around the idea of me leaving. Like, it just felt wrong. Like, it felt like I was not making the right decision when I tried to do this months ago. So Richard proposed in February. We got married a month later. We got married in March. And then at the end of March, we found out that we were expecting. So I was like, okay, like this is incredible. Like, everything was kind of lining itself up. And at that point I decided, you know what? We have Sanai, our 5-year-old. Well, she'll be 5 at the end of the month. She's starting, this is my thought process in March. She's starting school in the fall. We're pregnant, so we're going to be having a new baby in the fall. Me going back into the office is just not going to work. Like, I want to take this time to focus on being present as a wife, being present as a mom of 2, and really growing my business. And so me going back into the office just was not conducive, right? So those things all coupled together was my ammo to leave sometime in the spring. Well, I went to the doctor on April 5th and learned that the baby did not have a heartbeat. So we miscarried the baby. And obviously that shook us up. That was not expected. That was extremely heartbreaking. And it kind of like shifted plans. And so then I was like, well, maybe God is telling me like, no, you should stay at the job, you know? And I had like a customer site visit coming up in April. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay until I finished this customer site visit, right? And it was a huge site visit, 24 people. I had been working on it for months. And I was like, I don't want to just walk away. Like, I've already put in this much work. I may as well see it through. Well, after I finished that customer site visit, which was in March, their convention, the customers who I had a site visit with, their actual convention was in July. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay through this convention. I've been working with them for 2 years. I've already done a site visit. What's 3 more months? I'm just going to stay and finish out this convention. And so I stayed through July and I finished out the convention. And then it was like, okay, well, I have one more convention that has been an annual. I don't know if you guys ever hear me talking about Dragon Con, but it's been my convention for 6 years, and I've been working with them for 6 years, and they're at their Labor Day weekend every year in Atlanta. Dragon Con is Labor Day. So I was like, you know what? I can't leave them hanging. So I'm going to stay through Dragon Con. And so I finally had made the decision then that this is it. I am going to go through Dragon Con, and after that, I'm going to resign because the holidays are coming up. Sinai is in school. I need to start wedding planning. You know, I really want to see how, if I can do as well as I've done with my brand and with my blog while still working full time, a very demanding corporate job. Just imagine what I can do for myself and for my brand if I just give it my all, if I just go full throttle. And I can say that I used to be that person that was pro-corporate, anti-entrepreneurship, and not even necessarily anti, but just like, I just felt like as long as I made six figures and I had good benefits and there was upward mobility, that I was good. Like, why do I need to be an entrepreneur? And it's like, it's not even about corporate versus entrepreneurship, because they're both amazing. They both can be amazing. It was more so about like challenging myself to go beyond the status quo, challenging myself to step outside of my comfort zone, challenging myself to see what is it that you can do if you really jump out the window and grow wings on the way down. Stop being comfortable. Richard, my husband, says all the time, you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. You are not going to be able to live a life of comfort. You are not going to be able to live a life of comfort or luxury if you won't allow yourself to get uncomfortable. I'm sorry, y'all. I got that phone call. I'm not sure where I left off, but I think I was just talking about me allowing myself the opportunity and the space to actually bet on myself and to do something for me, and to really give myself a chance to like really chase my dreams and really build something that I can call my own. Because it's like, I could continue to do such great work and such groundbreaking work for like someone else's company, or I can take that same time and that same energy and do that for my own company. And that's essentially what I've decided to do. So I told my team it was really hard. There were a lot of tears. There were a lot of there was a lot of conversation, you know, around how I would leave. And to be honest, y'all, I have been sitting on this decision since January. I did not actually pull the trigger until August. And I gave them 6 weeks, a month and a half. You know, traditionally in the corporate world, you give 2 weeks. I gave 6 just because I still felt sort of bad about leaving and I didn't want to leave, you know, my convention. And so I gave them 6 weeks. And I stayed through the end of the convention, like I said. And I mean, we had a very good separation. We're going to meet up for drinks at some point in the next month or so. So it was definitely an amicable separation. But now I am super excited because I have the opportunity to really just go full throttle and to just really pour everything that I have into my family and my business and you guys. Like, that feels incredible to me because I feel like I have no inhibitions and I can really truly just, you know, open my wings and I can soar. And so I don't think I've ever been more nervous or scared, but also more excited in my life. Like, I am so geeked about the opportunity that is just out there and the time that I now have to pour into what I want. And I'm just really excited. There's a lot in store. I have a lot that I want to share. And to be completely honest, like a lot of the things that I did with my job, you know, trying new restaurants and, you know, being in the know, I can still do those things, just not on my corporate card, just not on the company's dime, but I can still go to new restaurants and share those with y'all and tell y'all about the amazing things happening in Atlanta, because that's still a passion of mine. So you'll still see that, you know, I'll just, you know, have to budget it and maybe start partnering with some local businesses to share things about them. So yeah, so that doesn't have to stop. I can still share the really cool Atlanta things. I just have to be more strategic about how I partner with those organizations and companies and really just keep that type of content coming. So that's really it. I have made the leap. I am officially a full-time entrepreneur. And the beautiful thing is my education, my experience, my degree can never be stripped from me. I could always go back. not even necessarily to that particular company, but if I want to go back to the corporate world, I can do that. Don't see that happening, but I've had to convince myself, or remind myself rather, that I still have everything that I had before I left. And so I'm really excited. I'm really excited to show up as a wife, as a mom, as a businesswoman, as a friend, as a mentor, as a mentee. Like, I'm really just excited to be my best self. And I'm so grateful, and I thank God so much. And I pray to him every day, thanking him for all that he has done, that he is doing, and that he will do. I always come to him with a bowed head and an humble heart, because I know that my God don't play about me. Okay. So, I got through this whole video without crying. I'm really excited, y'all. I cannot wait for this journey that we're about to be on together. So there it is. Corporate Courtney has taken the back seat. Entrepreneur Courtney is riding till the wheels fall off. So thank y'all so much for all the love, all the support. And until next time, love y'all. Bye.